once again to another subject, which is basic science. Basic science, and our topic is adequate diet. Adequate diet. So, by the end of this lesson, you should be able to explain what is adequate diet. Not only that, you should be able to list components of adequate diet, and also list how to preserve our food. I said by the end of our lesson this morning, you should be able to explain what an adequate diet is, to be able to list components of adequate diet, and also list ways we can preserve our food to keep it from spoilage. So let us start with explaining what adequate diet is. We all know that all living things, especially man, needs diet. Man needs to eat. So another word for that is what? Food. If you don't eat, you can imagine yourself, you go without food for 2 or 3 days. How will you feel? You will feel so weak. You feel as if you are about to die, and you won't be able to do anything. That is when you go without food. But when you eat food, before you come to school, you eat. During lunchtime, you eat. When you go home, you eat dinner. You find out that you are strong and you are healthy. So, man needs food. Now, you don't just eat anything for the sake of eating. You have to eat food that will do what? Nourish your body. So, when you eat that kind of food that contains nutrients that nourishes your body, that kind of food is known as what? Adequate diet. So adequate diet is a meal which contains all the 6 classes of food. A meal which contains all the 6 classes of food. From your nursery school, you have been doing what? Classes of food. Carbohydrate, protein, vitamin, fats and oil, mineral salt, and water. These are the 6 classes of food. So when you eat any food you eat that contains all these classes of food, that food is known as what? Adequate diet. So let me write it for you on the board. Adequate diet is what? A meal. A meal which contains all the classes of food in correct quantities. Meal which contains all the classes of food in correct quantities. That is what is known, is called an adequate diet. Adequate diet. So, adequate diet should always be eaten by everybody so as to keep the body healthy. A healthy body is a wealthy body. You used to hear it all the time. When you are healthy, then you are wealthy. So when you eat good food that contains all the 6 classes of food, your body is what? Healthy, and you have wealth. Now, it is a good thing to take at least 3 meals in a day. We have 3 types of meal that we eat every day. We have breakfast. Breakfast. What is breakfast? Breakfast is our morning meal. That is morning meal. The food you eat before you come to school, before coming to school, is known as what? Breakfast. That is the first meal we have for the day. The second meal we have for the day is the lunch. Say it, children, lunch. And lunch is what? Our afternoon meal. Afternoon meal. the food you eat when you go home, or the one you eat in the class when you are back from recess, when you come back from the break after jumping around, running, jumping, doing all sorts of things at the playground. When you come back into the class, you wash your hands and you bring out your food from your lunch bag and start eating. Some of you also eat lunch when they go home. So lunch is an afternoon meal. Another is the afternoon and the second meal of the day. The last meal of the day is the supper. It's either you call it supper or dinner. Of course, it is the evening meal, the food we eat in the night. That is what. These are the 3 types of food we eat every day. Now, the next thing to look at is what? Components of adequate diet. Adequate diet. Teacher, what do you mean by adequate diet? Which food will I eat and I will know that I have eaten what? Adequate diet. So we come to the next one, components of adequate diet. Components. What does it? What is in that adequate diet? What is in that food that make it adequate? Adequate diet. So, and as I have said earlier, that an adequate diet must contain all the classes of food. And we have said that classes of food are what? Carbohydrates, vitamin. The first component is what? Carbohydrates. The first component of adequate diet is what? Carbohydrates. And another word for carbohydrate is what? Energy giving food or starch. Energy giving food. All the food that you eat that gives you strength to do work is called what? Carbohydrates. Instead of that carbohydrates. And what are they? Your yam, cassava, garri, rice, potatoes. All those food comes under what? Carbohydrates. Another component of adequate diet is the protein. The protein. What is the work of the protein? The protein repairs all worn out tissues in our body. When you jump up, or at times you fall sick, and all the tissues in your body becomes weak. Even some may even die. So all those food you eat to make all those cells in your body that died when you were sick is what? Protein. And what are examples of protein? Meat, fish, beans, meat, fish, beans, this one that we'll drink. What do they call it? I've forgotten the name, but these are the main components of what? Protein. Your meat, fish, even crayfish, turkey, egg. These are what? Examples of what? Protein. Soya beans, that's what I was trying to recall. Soya beans. The soya milk you drink is very good for your body. It gives us what? Protein. Another component of adequate diet is vitamin. Vitamin means all fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables comes under what? Vitamin. Your mango, your oranges, your pineapple, watermelon, tangerine, your green, all the green vegetables, carrots, cabbage, spinach, green beans, green pepper. All those vegetables we use in making salad, cooking and soup, they are all what? Vitamin. When you eat fruits, when you eat vegetable, it gives you what? Vitamin. It is what? Adequate diet. Another adequate diet is what? Fats and oil. Fats and oil. Fats and oil. When you talk of fats and oil, you mean groundnut. You know that there is oil in groundnut. The groundnut oil we use in frying and meat, in frying akara, in frying potato, when you fry your potato with groundnut oil, the groundnut oil will get absorbed inside the potato, you eat it and it nourishes your body. Even the margarine, the butter used in eating bread, it comes under what? Fat and oil. So it is also an adequate component of an adequate diet. The next one is what? Mineral salt. Mineral salt. This is also component of an adequate diet. The salt we use in cooking our food. You can imagine after cooking your food with all the chickens and everything you eat, and there is no salt in it, you will not enjoy it until you add salt. So salt is very good for our body. So mineral salt is one of the components of what? Adequate diet. And the last one is what? Water. Water. The water we drink. Without water we can't do anything. We drink water, we cook with water, we bathe with water, we do so many things with water. So after eating your adequate diet and you did not drink water, something is still lacking in your body. You might be sick and you go to the hospital and the doctor will say there is no water in your body. So when you eat, make sure you drink. So water, clean water, is one of the components of adequate diet. So we have listed the components of adequate diet: carbohydrates, protein, vitamin, fat and oil, mineral salt and water. So when you eat food that contains carbohydrates like yam, cassava, garri, rice, potato, when you eat food that contains protein, food like meat, fish, beans, egg, crayfish, soya beans, you are eating adequate diet. Vitamin, when after eating you take your fruits, you eat your vegetables, it's called vitamin. It is components of adequate diet. Fat and oil, mineral salts and water. These are the 6 components of adequate diet. So the next thing we look at is what? Preservation of food. Preservation of food. That is our next subhead. Preservation of food. How can we preserve our food? Go to the market, you buy meat, you buy fish, and just come, you dump it in your kitchen there. What will happen? Before you wake up the next day, it has gotten spoiled. Bacteria already acted on it and you won't be able to eat it again. So foods are prepared, preserved, so as to be kept in good condition until they are to be cooked or eaten. Sometimes you buy big quantity of meat that you cannot finish in a week or so. You don't just dump it anyhow. Or you buy tomatoes. All this perishable food, if you buy it without proper preservation, before you make use of it, it will get spoiled. So preservation prevents food from being spoiled by germs. Preservation prevents food from being spoiled. From being spoiled by germs. Why do we preserve food? We preserve food so that germs will not spoil them, so that it can last long for us. After cooking your soup, you leave it in the pot like that. You are not warming it. You don't put it in the fridge. What will happen? It will get spoiled and you won't be able to eat it again. So you have to preserve your food, preserve whatever you buy, so that it can last long for you, so that germs will not be spoiled by germs. Now let us look at various ways we can preserve our food. How can we preserve our food? Number 1 is by cooking. By what? Cooking. This is one of the ways we can preserve our food. For example, your beans, your soup. If you don't have fridge, after cooking your soup, make sure you are warming it and then it won't spoil. Another way of preserving our food is by boiling. By what? Boiling. Example, yam, eggs, and so on. If you keep your egg for some time without frying or boiling, it might decay. So for it to last long for you, what do? You boil it. Another way of preserving our food is by frying. By what? By frying. For example, fish. If you fry your fish or meat, it can stay for some time for you without spoiling. But if you just buy it from the market and you dump it somewhere, before you know it, you won't be able to eat it again. So you can preserve our food by frying. Another way is by drying. By drying, for example, your beans, your maize, your cassava, and so on, you can take it out under the sun, spread it on the floor. The sun will shine on it, and then it will dry, and it won't spoil. So we preserve our food by drying. Another method is by baking. By baking, of course, we bake our bread. Another way of preserving our food is by smoking. By smoking. What do I mean by smoking? You can put it on top of the fire, and then the fire will do what? Will shrink it by smoking, placing it on top of the fire. You can see the way those people that sell suya, how they prepare the suya we eat, they are smoking it. By bottling, another way of preserving our food is by bottling. By bottling it up. Example, grains, oil, drinks. You can imagine the Coke you buy from the shop downstairs, from the shop behind or beside your house. The Coke, the Fanta you buy, of course it has been bottled. It can stay for a year or two without spoiling. Whenever you buy it with your opener, you open it, it is still good. You can see how the Coke, how the soft drink has been preserved by what? Bottling. Another way of preserving food is by canning. By what? Canning. Putting in a can and sealing it. Example, your cereal, your fruits, your meat, your fish, the sardine, the geisha we use in cooking and rice and spaghetti is preserved by what? By canning. They put it inside the can and it is sealed. Whenever you buy it, you just pull it up, pull the lid up to open. By salting. Another method of preserving food is by salting. By salting. Those in the village, they do it. You buy meat, you buy fish, you rub salt all over the body of the meat, and the salt will preserve it from spoiling. And the last but not the least method is by refrigeration. By refrigeration. This is the best method of preserving our food. By what? Refrigeration. For instance, your fish, your meat, your fruit, your drink, your soup, your stew, your beans, everything that you cook, you preserve it in the freezer. It can stay for depending on how light is. If there is regular supply of light, it can stay in your freezer for a very long time. So these are the methods of preserving food. So we have looked at adequate diet. So that adequate diet is a meal which contains all the classes of food in correct quantities. And we've said that we have 3 types of meal. We have breakfast, lunch, and supper. We also listed components of adequate diet, which is carbohydrates, protein, vitamin, fats and oil, mineral salts, and water. We also looked at preservation of food. How can we preserve our food and stop it from what? Destruction, and we listed them here. So I'm going to give you some questions to answer. You will answer the question in your homework book. Number 1, define adequate diet. Teacher just said it. Define it for me. Number 2, list the 3 types of meal that we have. List the 3 types of meals that we have. Number 3, state the 6 components of adequate diet. Components of adequate diet. And the last is what? Name 5 ways we can preserve our food. So, number 1, define adequate diet. Number 2, list the 3 types of meals that we have. Number 3, state the 6 components of adequate diet. And number 4, name 5 ways we can preserve our foods. Thank you.